Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Rooted Podcast. We are going to talk about turkeys. We're going to talk about hunting. We're going to talk about shooting some brand new shotguns. We're going to talk about all the things that we kind of revolve around that and turkey hunting. We are so close. I know a lot of states they're up and at them right now. Florida, I think Alabama's in full swing, Mississippi. There's some people that are beating us to the punch here, but don't get it twisted. Tennessee is up. We are on deck, and we are ready to go swing that bat and go get us a bird. I don't know about you, Ben, but I'm fired up and I'm ready. So we're going to talk about it.
Yes, sir. We are. We are ready for the Tennessee turkey season.
Mm,
It's going to be awesome as
I can't
always.
wait.
But let's dive into what we got today.
Yeah, let's get a Bibleverse going, Ben.
You got
Straight
it,
up.
man. 1 Corinthians 10, verse 19. Even though I am a free man with no master, I have become a slave to all people to bring many to Christ. What does that mean? That means that we are choosing to do this for all people so that many people can come to Christ. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're trying to do. We don't have to be a slave. We don't have to do any of that stuff. We want to become that for many people so that Christ can be glorified.
Well, that's the whole point of it all, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's the whole point of it all, man. Glorifying Jesus. That is the point of everything we do throughout our entire lives.
and I'll tell you where I feel closest to God is when I'm watching His handiwork. And what I mean
Yeah.
by that is when I'm in His creation, and He created, this wild turkey, and He created the gobble that it creates, and
Yeah.
man, there is no better feeling than when you are just 10 steps away from a gobbling turkey and it's doing everything right. And in that moment, you know that there's no other explanation than that's a God created creature.
Absolutely, man.
I mean,
And looking at
it's
these
just it.
turkeys, just look at all the iridescence in their feathers.
Mm-hmm.
And different
Yeah,
birds have slightly different feathers.
they do.
The patterns. Like you have an Osceola. It's different than an
Yeah.
Eastern.
Then a
It's
Merriam.
different than a Rio and a Merriam. They're
Mm-hmm.
all different. Then you have the Goulds and
Oh, yeah.
the Oscillated. And the Oscillated is totally different from all of them,
Mm-hmm.
especially as far as the head looks. I mean, it's just
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Those things are wacky,
unbelievable.
but they're cool.
When you step back and actually look around you and take the time to slow down a little bit, you can
Mm-hmm.
actually see what God has made right in front of your face. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's right, plain and simple. All you have to do is stop to look long enough and you'll see it.
Absolutely. You just got to stop and just kind of zoom out, as they say, and just
Yeah,
appreciate it. Because,
that's
I
exactly right.
mean, turkey season's only, I don't know, what do you think, month and a half long? I mean, so,
Yeah, something like that. Month and a half.
and it's like, man, you got to really cherish those moments because, you know, if, and this is how I try to look at it. It's like,
Mhm.
all right, if you're, let's say, I'm 26. And if I live, let's say I live, till I'm 76, like glorious, I can still move. I view it as like, hey, I only got 50 more hunting seasons. That's all I got, 50 of them.
Yeah, 50 more hunting seasons.
It's
That's
like,
right.
and it's like when you really really think about it, 50 is not a whole lot of
No.
and it's like you just got to cherish every moment. But I will say, I think this season and this is a big statement because we've had some great turkey seasons. I
We
really
have.
think this season is going to be the best season we've ever had.
Man, I have to agree with that because there's so many cool factors that's going into this turkey season.
Absolutely.
New sponsors, new firearms, new everything. It's just going to be super cool to get everything going and put it in. And plus, all the work that we have done at the ranch to get these birds, the habitat sustainable to
Hmm.
where they can thrive. And then what you're doing on your farms to keep
Yeah.
these things ready to roll.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Chufa fields are doing great as always. And then I've got this new farm that's just absolutely crushing it. I'm just thankful the birds are just there. It's just a good spot. But with that said, I've done a few things to make them want to be there. Dude, something as simple as just taking a rake and turning up the dirt.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. You don't have to get a tiller in there, and you don't have to. Is what I'm trying to say. And
Yeah.
if you just take you a little rake, turn up that top of that soil, just a little. Those turkeys find that intriguing because it's freshly turned dirt, and they're picking through it and they're liking it. Something as simple as that is one of the many things that you can do to make yourself more successful.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I agree with you 100%. And that's one thing, that you've done very well is making sure that the habitat is proper and you don't put a lot of pressure on those birds too in
Mm-hmm.
between the end of deer season until now. You're just watching them from a distance, you're scouting them
Yep.
from a distance. So, I think that's pretty solid
Well, and
for what you're trying to do.
that's where for both of us, that's where those wise eyes come in handy. Those things are awesome. Whenever you can put out and deploy those cameras, and you don't have to worry about it. And I tell you, what's really great about the wise eyes for me is I don't even have to. I don't use the batteries.
Yeah.
I got a solar panel on one, and then I've got the connector that hooks to like a lawnmower battery. It's
Yeah.
got the little gator clips.
Mm-hmm.
Those things have been absolutely just game changers because I've had other cell cams in the past, and the principle is the same as far as like, yeah, you don't have to go in there, yada yada. But when I was always having to change batteries, and now I don't have to do that, that makes my life way easier. And just like you're saying, I don't put all the pressure on those birds.
Mm-hmm.
But my spots are doing great, but I think I think the Sinking Creek Ranch is where the real shining star is. You know, you were just telling me a story about how you were there, and then next thing you know, you got a turkey strutting, you got gobbles going everywhere. It sounds like it's getting right over there.
Yeah, man, it is getting right over there. So I had the boys from Huntwise down to do a little filming, of tips and tactics and, just some informational stuff that we were trying to get out there on the Field Guide Plus and different things like that. But man, we went out one morning just to do some early morning photos and stuff. Oh man, there were gobbles every single direction you could even think about looking.
Mm,
They were everywhere, all the way around you, 360 degrees, everywhere. And,
mm,
that's just a testament to the work that's been put in there over the last 4 years to increase the habitat for those turkeys on that property. And, one thing that we really strive to do too is I leave the grass tall until the poults can run. And then I go in and bush hog. And, because what you're doing is if you're running through there and bush hogging, you know, you're going to kill a bunch of poults if they can't run yet very well because they can't outrun a tractor just yet.
yeah,
So
at a certain age, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
when
Yeah.
they're young, when they're real small. But
Hmm.
talking about Huntwise, I want to express some things real quick. That app, man, is probably one of the absolute best tools I've ever used for navigating a turkey hunt before it even starts. I go
Hmm.
out and I scout and I drop my pins on turkey tracks, roost trees, different things like that. But one of the
Yeah.
very cool features is the LiDAR. So the LiDAR strips everything off the surface and leaves you with what it would be if there was no vegetation, which is awesome, especially where we are in the hills of Tennessee. We can see how those
Hmm.
ridges come in and meet with no trees. I mean, sure, you can look at topo lines and all that. Yeah, that's great. But this LiDAR feature, man, it takes it to the next level when you're trying to truly strategize how to get in and out of those different hunt areas without busting birds off the roost and, trying to get closer to them if they already have flown down from that roost.
Hmm. Yeah, any little advantage that you can have is going to
Yep.
make you just the big difference whenever it actually comes crunch time to make it happen. Um, I'm the same way, and any little thing that I can do, and I'm a big proponent of dropping the pins. That's been a game changer in the hunting world for us. So it's a big help, especially in scouting, just like you're saying. So I really think that this is going to just do nothing but enhance it. And this is just my point of what I was saying earlier. Of this is going to be the best turkey season we've ever had.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, John, we got something cool the other day that I got to tell everybody about.
Okay.
This season, we are rocking a brand new shotgun from Weatherby. It's called the Sorix. It's their 20 gauge version. I took it out, mixed with the Federal Heavyweight TSS the other day, and patterned that thing. Oh my gosh. It was unbelievable how accurate that firearm was at 20 yards. And then at 40 yards, the pattern was so nice at 40 yards. I would be willing to take a 60-yard shot without question. Now, one thing I have to mention here too is that I was using the Carlson's heavyweight TSS choke that is specifically made for that shell. And
Right.
man, it was unbelievable the quality of not only the shotgun, but the combo of the choke and that TSS from Federal Premium. Man, it was awesome. I cannot wait for you to shoot the shotgun. It's going to be awesome.
I'm all about it. I'm ready to do it. Listen, I will shoot anything that shoots and performs well, But this is again, and we've talked about this before, but I mean, this is just part of it. You got to go pattern your shotgun. You got to see if it works because, I mean, I'm glad it worked out for you, and it sounds like it's working out just off the charts. But in the off chance it didn't, hey, you just got to know those things. So it sounds awesome. It sounds like everything is working out good. And even someone like me who has, in years past shot the same shotgun every year, I still went out and shot it just because, hey man, you just never know. Speaking of that, so I've told the story about my wife's Uncle Jeff, old Jeffrey. I've told the story.
Jeffrey, my favorite person.
The unfortunate swing and a miss, and it happens. We've all been there. We're not dogging him for that. What we dogged him for was not patterning the shotgun, even though I told him to, and he told me, "No, it's okay." All right, hey, you're a grown man. I'm not going to make you do anything, but I'm just letting you know. So this year, though, I told him, I said, "Look, I'm not taking you hunting until you pattern the shotgun. I ain't doing it.
Yes. Yep.
I ain't doing
Gotta
it.
pattern that shotgun.
If you don't do it, I'm taking other people first. I'm just not doing it."
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of where we're at there. But man, it is coming together. It's looking like it's going to be great. Dude, I love it. I got my first picture of the season of a strutting Tom. I've gotten pictures of Toms, for a month and a half now, but he finally had it was like him and about 6-7 hens, and dude, he strutted from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I was
7 to 10.
It's 7
that bird
to
was
3 hours. I could, dude. If the camera didn't pick it up, I would have never have believed it. I was like, holy crap, dude! You are just. I mean, he just stayed because I got the camera to where it gets a pretty good area, and the camera was picking up the hens close, and he was like, I would get him way back, like 80 yards back, and then he'd be up at the camera, and he'd be left and right and all over the place, and I was like, holy smokes, dude, you are just getting it. And the blind's like 20 yards away, and I'm like, all right, yep, sweet, you're done.
That's awesome, man. We've been running the Wise Eyes too at the ranch, and one of the things that I've started doing, you're using the Gator clip and the car battery. I have tried their new solar panel. Oh, buddy, is that thing awesome?
Yeah, I've got one. Not the new one. I didn't realize I had a new one.
Dude, that new one is thin. It's
Oh, okay.
ultralight, and it works phenomenally. And man, the thing of it is um, the picture quality of these new cameras. Even the older versions were fantastic, but
Yeah,
I have to say this. The cell service down at the ranch is awful,
it's
and
complete crap.
you get zero cell service whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the DC2 version from Wiseye
Mm-hmm.
gets 2 bars of cell service in the valley where nothing else works.
Yeah,
That gets service. It's just like, good grief, man, that is fantastic.
oh, that's
And
awesome. It's a game changer.
yeah, it is. It
That's what
is.
those cameras do. Is they just completely change the game.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they're awesome. I would highly recommend them.
So
Absolutely.
I have a big group of Jakes this year, a huge group of Jakes. I mean, like 25 of them in one area. And I'm
Really.
kind of afraid that those Jakes are going to push the Longbeards out. Um, I don't know. I hope not, but we'll see
Mm,
what happens. The other morning I was out walking around, just looking with binoculars and stuff and scouting it out. And
yeah.
there was a big old rascal blown up in the Field of Dreams. I mean, he was,
Mm, mm. Yep.
I thought, oh, buddy, you just wait 2 weeks. We're coming for you.
Yeah, you
Two
just keep
weeks.
on keeping on.
2 weeks. And we will be there.
Yeah,
We'll
man.
be there.
I'm so ready, dude.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
Gosh dang. Yeah, dude. I cannot wait. I mean, just cannot wait.
Yeah. Me neither.
Yeah, I mean, so basically when I'm 2 weeks out from a turkey season, what I like to do is just kind of moderate the cameras. I'm like this weekend. I'm gonna go out to the farms. I'm just gonna walk around. I'm gonna, and I know they're in there, so I'm not gonna walk really all too far. But I'm just gonna kind of look for some tracks, look for some other feeding. Really, where the camera isn't. I'm gonna try and see, are they coming from, off of this ridge, off of that ridge, and then that'll give me a better idea of where they roost, and then what that will do is get me a better idea of how to start my morning. So because if I'm like walking in this way and I'm not paying attention that they're roosting over there when I should be walking in the other way, I don't want to ruin my hunt because I didn't do my homework. So that's kind of all I'm doing now is like I've identified that there's birds. I know that the turkeys are in there. Now I just want to kind of broaden my search a little bit, try to find some other scratchings and maybe some prints and stuff, and then when I get about a week before season, uh, to like a few days before, and like I know I'm fixing to hunt on Saturday morning, that's when I'll go and I'll listen for gobbles, and I'll really pinpoint like, okay, there's one here, one here, one here, whatever. And then I just know. And then if I can, in a perfect world scenario, Friday evening, I'll definitely try to set some eyes on one, or at least try to hear one, and then be like, okay, I know there's one right here. Like worst case scenario, I know there's one, and maybe you get a couple more, but that's kind of what I like to do whenever I'm this far out. Is just go in there, try and see if I can, find some more scratchings or prints or anything that's not being seen by the camera, and then that kind of just gives me a better idea of how to start my morning. Um, and then I like to listen, and then it's time to load up them 3 shells and rip it.
Oh,
So,
yeah. It'll be time to rip it here soon. And I cannot wait, my friend,
mhm.
to let that TSS run down that barrel and whack an old turkey on the noggin. But more
Yeah,
importantly, we were talking about sign here. You left off one thing that's kind of important, John.
I always do.
Wherever you find the dookie, the turkey dookie, that's where they spend a lot of time. And I'm not trying to be gross. I'm not trying to be any of that. It's just facts. Wherever you can find that, you will find the turkeys at some point during the day because that's where they're feeding. That's where they're hanging out the most throughout the daylight hours. And typically speaking, a turkey feeds right at fly down, up, on up in the morning a little bit, and then they feed a lot in the afternoon on their way back to their roost. Now, am I saying they don't ever feed in the middle of the day? No, I'm not saying that at all because they can. They're birds. They do whatever they want to. But, his what I've seen
primarily, yes.
primarily they feed first thing in the morning and in the evening before they fly back up to roost. And, if you can find those centrally located areas where they're feeding the most, whether it's in a food plot or, the crazy thing is when you start looking at the acorn ridges and stuff like that, they don't really start hitting the acorns until the fall. I mean, you don't need to think that they're in there eating acorns right now because they're not. Now when I say that, they will be in the hardwoods. They will scratch in the hardwoods looking for grubs or any kind of insect that is just emerging, or any kind of grasses that are just freshly emerging. One of the things that turkeys like, aside from the chufa, is also clover. Turkeys absolutely love a clover patch. Love it.
Yes, they do. Yep, I've literally have a clover patch right next to the chufa field, so it works out pretty great for me. Yeah, they will eat that, and then of course they just dig up dirt and eat bugs and insects and whatever other little critters they can find, and nuts and berries and whatever else, and they just kind of peck around and survive, and that's just kind of what a turkey does. And once you can figure out kind of where they're feeding, it does help. Now, of course, I try not to just deer hunt them. In other words, I try not to just sit over a chufa field and just deer hunt them like that and kind of ambush them. Even though, I mean, I do it and it's a good way to turkey hunt. But of course, my favorite way is to run and gun and get in there, hear a gobble, and just go after them and play that chess game. That's always a fun time. I mean, that's what it's all about. Whenever you can beat him at his own game in the woods, it's super fun.
Yeah, no, man, I couldn't agree more. You know me, I will walk the soles off a pair of boots trying to chase a turkey. I do not like being still and hunting turkeys. I don't like doing it. I like to run and gun all the time and, move and shake. I like to be like Ricky Bobby, shake and bake, baby.
Yeah. Hey, look, I hear you, man. I love it. It's the most fun for me. But I will say this, buddy, if I know that there's turkeys right there, I'm not above sitting over a chufa field. I ain't above it. I will gladly shoot a longbeard in one of them things. So, yeah, it don't bother me at all. I definitely, don't care how you hunt turkeys as long as it's legal and you're having fun. Hey, that's all I care about. Go and enjoy it. It's man, if you want to use decoys and you want to fan them, hey, do it. I don't freaking care. Just have fun, man.
Yeah, have fun.
I'll tell you what, I used to use decoys, and then I started kind of getting away from it, and now, man, I really don't use them. I have plenty of decoys, and I'm not saying I don't have them in the truck because you just never know when you feel like they could be useful. I mean, you look at Texas and our Texas hunt; they were very, very effective.
Yeah, they were.
But I've had other hunts where they don't really like them, and they're like, I don't really know how I feel about this. Now, I will say what I'm more and more finding out, especially in today's world, these decoys look phenomenal. Now look, I think yes, if you buy the $10 roll up foam thing from Walmart, yeah, okay, it don't look good. But if you are going to spend the money and get some good decoys, it's not really that the bird's decoy shy, I'll say. It's more so that they've gotten their butt whooped at some point.
Yep.
And listen, and you may even be like, hey, it's just a Jake decoy. Dude, Jakes will gang up and beat the crap out of a longbeard.
Dude, I sit there and physically watched a whole gaggle of jakes, like 9 of them, go up and beat the fire out of these 2 longbeards.
They'll
Just
do
start
it, man.
chasing them around. They
They're
started
little
doing
turds, man.
that fighting purr.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and they were just going crazy, and they ended up chasing those longbeards out of the field.
Yeah, dude, they're freaking rascals, man. They're little
Sure do.
jerks, dude.
They're
Yeah.
little jerks, but hey, they're little jerks in numbers. But
Yeah.
when you get 1-on-1, they change their tone really quick.
Oh, of course they do.
Because they're like, oh, well, I can't beat this guy anymore. You know, he's bigger, he's got
Yeah.
spurs, I have nubs. You know, there's nothing I can really do here. And this longbeard's about to whip my butt.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, it's funny. I'm actually sitting here staring at that funky chicken decoy, little slender Jake. I tell you, one of the things I learned, that was one of my first decoys. I mean, I had a hen and a Jake and a strutter, but that was one of them. And I've learned, for me, what works is just take the beard out of the decoy.
Yeah.
Not saying that's the foolproof way, but I have had that work. And I'll tell you what I do try to stay away from is full fan decoys.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like the ones people kind of hide behind and shimmy around. That has a purpose, but and so do strutter decoys. But every time I've used one, I don't know, maybe I just suck at it. But every time I use one, the bird just did not care, and I'm starting to think that I just never had a boss bird come in there. So I just try to kind of not use them. I will say if I do, I usually just use a hen or two.
Yeah.
And I've also, for me, it's weird. Like, I feel like if I put them a little past me, not too far past me, but like, 20, 30 yards past me.
Yeah.
And then if they don't like it, they're kind of more in front of you, not way more out. The decoys are in front of you. So there's also something to consider there as far as your placement. But, it's all just kind of whatever works and whatever the situation calls for.
No, you're exactly right on that, man. And, one thing that I've learned now, granted, I have killed a lot of turkeys with the foam decoys, a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't work.
But I've had better success with the better looking decoys.
Of course, yeah, that's how it works.
And one of the tricks that I always use when I'm using decoys is I take the hen, put her first, and I put the Jake behind her to make it appear as though that Jake is bulldogging that hen right up on her, trying to get her. And that Tom's going to see that, or excuse me, we're not from the north, Longbeard is going to see that and be like, whoa, old son, we're not playing this game. Like, this is my territory. So I'm coming to fight you.
It does happen.
And then, turns out I'm just the one waiting in the bushes for that.
Yeah, exactly. Kapow. Yeah, no doubt.
20 gauge TSS screaming.
Now, I will say, when a decoy hunt works and that bird beats the fire out of your decoy, it is something else to watch. I'll admit it. It's awesome. I'm not mad at it. Because, dude, there's this one time I was hunting this piece of public, and I had that funky chicken and a hen, and, dude, I struck up these two birds, and they came, from like 250 yards, just booking it. And I was like, holy crap, this is freaking awesome. So that does happen, but it just depends on the birds you got and their, kind of demeanor and what they're into that day or not. And, it all depends. Because here's the thing about turkey hunting. There are no absolutes in turkey hunting. If you go on a hunt on the first day and you use a Jake and a hen and you just smack a big old gobbler and it's awesome, and you're like, oh, cool, I'll just do this forever. You can go out the very next day and use that same decoys, and they'll be like, nope, not today.
Nope, not today, boys.
And it's just like, what? It drives you nuts because you're like, dude, I've killed 10 turkeys doing this, but this turkey today is like, no, not doing it. No, okay, sweet, great, lovely.
To have a pea-sized brain, they can be so finicky sometimes.
Absolutely, man. And it's, but that's the joy of it, right?
Yeah.
It's the process. It's the chess match. It's figuring out what's going on and how to beat this bird. So
Oh yeah.
I do love it. I'm ready for it. Yeah, man. I just can't wait. I'm so excited, and I just wanted to get on here and just talk about kind of what the game plan is whenever you're 2 weeks out, and then whenever you're a week out, and then eventually it just comes time to get in there and do it.
I can't wait to get in there and do it, buddy. Cannot wait.
Mm.
It's gonna be awesome. Y'all be on the lookout for new episodes coming from Rooted Television too. Me and
Yeah.
John are gonna be at the lodge. I'm gonna be up at his house. We're gonna be tagging out on turkeys this year in the state of Tennessee, and we may go a couple other places. You just have to stay
You
tuned
never know.
to figure that out. You never know where me and old Johnny Boy are gonna end up. You just never know.
Hey,
Can't tell us.
it's gonna be a ride nonetheless. Man, we got plenty of things coming down the pipe, so I'm excited for that. And just stay tuned. And man, I'm just fired up. I'm excited, and it's funny, Ben. For those of you that don't know, I do have a normal like 8 to 4 job, 9 to 5, whatever.
Mhm.
For the moment at least. We'll see what happens in life with this podcast if y'all keep on blowing it up.
Yeah,
But
please.
anyway, the thing is like, and this is the great thing about my job. I love my job. I love the people. I was talking to my boss, who's also a hunter, and I was like, hey man, April 12th to May, whatever it is. I said, there may be a morning or two where I'm just a little late coming in here because I got to take care of a turkey. And this is the best response I've ever gotten. He said, well, don't call me, just text me and it'll be all right. I was like, yes.
Yes, dude.
So,
Yes.
Man, go ask your boss if it's okay. Just go out there in the morning and go get it done and try to find time. Because trust me, this is the other thing about this turkey season. It's going to look way different for me because this is my first turkey season with a child. So that's going to be a interesting road to navigate. With a come turkey season, she'll be a month old. So I have a month-old baby and a wife at home, and it'll be interesting. But I'll definitely get on down to the Seeking Creek Ranch for a little bit, and then hey, you just never know. We might just hop on a plane and go somewhere. You never know with me and old BC.
Never know where me and Johnny Boy gonna end up.
Hey, or just get in the old Ford and hit the street hot, screaming.
250 burning, baby.
But either way, we are ready. Ben, do you have anything in kind of particular that we haven't talked about that you do whenever we're 2 weeks out, other than just cameras and finding scat and scratches and anything like, obviously we're dropping pins and doing all that. I mean, any other little pieces of nugget information?
No, sir. No, sir. Not at all.
No, I think we covered it pretty well there.
I think we did too. Just get out there and listen and find them and locate them, drop your pins and kill them.
There you go. Download
simple.
Yep. Download the HuntWise app. That will definitely increase your chances there. So you download that HuntWise app today, start dropping your pins and start killing your turkeys. Simple as that.
Absolutely. And with that, the redneck is out.
See y'all.